is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? My name is Tony, aka Star Wars Sith, and welcome to the first episode of Sith Talk, where we talk Star Wars news, rumors, and coming soon. So today we have on the show Andrea from the Padawan Chronicles. How you doing today, Andrea?
Hey, I'm so good. How are you?
Good. So tell us a little bit about your channel, what you focus on, and where we could find you at.
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations on your inaugural episode. That's so
Thank you.
exciting. I love the branding and I love the Mustafar feel you have going on.
Yes.
So awesome. Yeah, so I am Andrea. I am the Padawan Chronicles here on YouTube. My actual username is Padawan Chronicles without the, and then my Instagram handle is also Padawan Chronicles without the. So I have a Star Wars channel, and the whole idea is that it's a welcoming space for people that want to learn about Star Wars. They could be anywhere in their Star Wars journey, just watching Star Wars for the first time, or having been keeping up with Star Wars their whole lives. But it's just meant to be like a low pressure area for people to ask questions and for it to not be weird. So yeah, I do a lot of
Nice.
reactions. I've been getting more into unboxings lately. You've
Yeah.
inspired a lot of that because I super enjoy watching your unboxings. And
uh
yeah, I have a monthly live stream, which you've also been on, which is we take some time to look at some newly released Star Wars collectibles like Funko and Loungefly, and it's a fun time.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. So the first thing I'm going to do, everyone that comes on this podcast, I'm going to ask them the same three questions. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? Out of all 11 films, what's like your
Ooh.
number one?
Starting out with the
Yes.
super difficult questions, I see.
Yep. If you could
I
only
feel
pick
like
one.
it's so hard because they all stand out to me for various reasons. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know, like Attack of the Clones, you get like the romance, but also the political intrigue. And Revenge of
Yeah.
the Sith, you get like the epicness and like just the scale of just everything that happens and the tide turning from Republic to Empire. You
Yep.
have like the kitschiness or the corniness of the original trilogy. And I
Hmm.
like that the original trilogy each has its own like very distinct color scheme. Like when I think of Return of the Jedi, I think green because you get
Yeah.
Luke's green lightsaber and we get Jabba and like Yoda's still a big part of um, Return of the Jedi. So I like that it has that unique branding. So I don't know, it's so tough to pick like a number one favorite. It kind of just depends on the mood that I'm in and what I feel like watching. But I
Uh-huh.
kind of lean toward, and I know this is like what everybody says, but I lean toward episode three, Revenge of the Sith.
Nice. And why do you lean
Yeah.
towards that versus everything else?
Well, between prequels and original trilogy, as much as I appreciate the original trilogy, I have to go prequels because I have to represent just the era that I grew up in and the Star
Yeah.
Wars movies that I grew up with, and those are the only movies I was actually around to go see in theaters because the
Yeah.
original trilogy's, released before I was born. So, I have to go prequels over originals. And if I have to pick, it's so tough because I like all of the prequels for their own distinct reasons too. I like how much
Yeah.
Padme is in Phantom Menace. I like the romance in Attack of the Clones, and I love the music and just the amazing movie, like music wise and just like consistency wise, that is Revenge of the Sith. But I have to go Revenge of the Sith just because I think it's the one that stands out in my memory the most.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, it's Revenge of the Sith for me, and it's just because like I remember going to the movie theater, and like I remember going in like knowing that, hey, like we know what the ending is. Like he's gonna turn to Vader, he has to, and that was kind of cool going in knowing the outcome, but not knowing how he would get to it. and like it was just so epic. And then seeing like Luke and Leia at the end, I kind of didn't expect that. So that was a cool little like Easter egg. But no, yeah, definitely
Oh,
Revenge of the Sith for me too. Yeah.
yeah,
So
particularly, and even though it's such a sad movie, and you're right, we do know how it ends. We know
yeah,
it's gonna end just so sad. But I loved Ewan
yeah,
McGregor as Obi-Wan, and I don't know,
perfect.
there's something to love about a movie that makes you feel something. And I think watching Anakin's descent into becoming a Sith makes you feel something. And I think that's why it sticks out in my memory so much because it's like so tragic, but I don't know. I guess you can keep in mind like the very happy ending at the end of, the original trilogy. So at least there's that to walk away with.
Yeah, and that's a good point you brought up too, because there's not a lot of movies that leave you feeling that like that when you leave. Like I could probably count on one hand movies that I felt like that leaving, or even
Hmm.
movies where like the bad guy kind of wins. So like I remember
Infinity War.
Infinity War. Yes, yeah. I remember leaving Infinity War and it felt like I left a funeral because I was so
Hmm.
lost and confused. Like I've never felt that way after a movie. So yeah, there's not a lot of
Right.
movies that can like have you in those feels like that. So that's definitely something you always remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it makes me think of something I heard George Lucas say in some kind of documentary that you just watch when you're scrolling on Instagram. But I remember him
Hmm.
saying it was risky to end a movie like that, but ultimately episodes 1 through 6 are in like a whole movie. So when you watch episodes 1 through 6, back to back, you're watching an entire movie. It's just
Yeah.
like, 6 or 7 hours long.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So the second question might be just as tough. What is your favorite Star Wars show? So including all the shows, live action, animated. Like, what's your number one?
Yes. Well, as you know, because we've talked about it, I only started getting into the animated shows more recently. I've
Uh
always
huh.
been like a purely live action Star Wars fan up until I started my channel and then just talking to more Star Wars people and seeing just how enthusiastic people are about the animated shows. I was like, well, I guess I have to watch them now. There's too much peer pressure. So
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it's so funny because I started all the animated shows simultaneously and have finished like none of them. I just keep like
Yeah.
switching. Like I'll switch between Bad Batch. I just watched some episodes of Bad Batch earlier and Clone Wars and well I did watch all of Tales of the Jedi because it's like 6 super short
It's
episodes,
shorts. Yeah.
but I also started Rebels and I haven't finished Rebels. So, yeah, I think I can't have like a favorite animated show until I watch one of them all the way through. But my
Uh huh.
favorite show so far is probably Kenobi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
oh wow, I didn't know you didn't even watch Bad Batch yet. Oh man.
No, I know. And it only has one season.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
it's a lot of
slacking.
episodes though. 16
Yeah, it's like
episodes.
16. Yeah.
So, are you gonna
Yeah, I
watch
think
the
I'm
new
on like
season when it comes
episode.
out?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I was watching it today. I was like, oh, I'm running out of time. I think I'm on like
Oh,
episode
okay.
10 or 11, so I'm almost there.
Oh, not bad. Oh, so you'll finish it before you got time.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
me, my favorite show, because I've seen them all, but I would say Clone Wars, but that's only because season 7 put it over the top. For me, I was always a Rebels fan. Like I always like Rebels a little bit more than Clone Wars, but season 7 so epic. I take Clone Wars and I take Clone Wars over like Mando and all the other live action shows just because there's more like 7 whole seasons. So
There's
that
more.
could
Yeah.
yeah, that could change later, but Clone Wars, watching all 7 seasons, it made me appreciate and like the prequels even more, and it just, like, enhances it, so when I watch the prequels, in the back of my mind, I'm seeing all these other missions and other things that I knew that happened in animated as I'm watching it, so it just makes it, like, a better experience, so I'd have to go Clone Wars for that.
Yeah, I can see that. There is a lot of fun stuff in Clone Wars that I've been enjoying. But you know what's tough for me about Clone Wars? I'm such a big like Padme fan, and I feel like Padme is so much more likable in live action as a character. Like in Clone Wars, I feel like they gave her much more like much more personality flaws. I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
But how far are you in
Yeah.
Clone Wars though?
I don't know. I think I'm in like season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is when it starts to get good. We get a lot more of her later. So, I mean, that might I don't I mean, your opinion might change once you get through it all, but there's definitely a lot more Padme coming. Like a lot. So,
Okay. Because one thing that's always really intrigued me about Padme is how quickly she had to grow up
oh
in order to
yeah.
be queen at such a young age, and just her political training and education, and just the fact that she never got to be a kid. And I always just kind of admired the way that she took that in stride
Mhm.
and was such like so dedicated to democracy and to the republic. But then I'm watching Clone Wars, and here's like my favorite character, and she's acting kind of immature at times, and
Yeah.
maybe that makes her more relatable, more likable. But I don't know, to me it like, she's like a little bit less mature when it comes to Anakin and her relationship with him sometimes.
You'll see the change because the same thing happened with Ahsoka. Like when they first introduced Ahsoka, everyone hated her. It's like, who's this little whiny Jedi? And now everybody loves Ahsoka. So you'll see Ahsoka
Yeah.
go from that little whiny youngling to like who she is now. And man, season 7, there's so much Padme and Anakin stuff. Like I want to spoil it, but no, not. But like,
Don't do it. Yeah.
there's some cool scenes in season 7, and it's happening during Revenge of the Sith. And like, you'll know when you get to it. Like for sure, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's so funny because you keep telling me to like skip to season 7, like you can just
Yeah,
watch it by itself, and I'm like, I don't want to, because what if I
yeah.
watch season 7 and I'm like, okay, I guess that was the best of Clone Wars. I might never go back and watch, seasons 3 through 6.
No, there's some juicy stuff like with Fives. Oh, Fives, this little arc that he has. Oh man. Oh, I want to say it, but it'll kind of spoil it. But there's some amazing stuff that happens with Clone Trooper Fives and Rex. Oh, you'll see. There's a lot of juicy stuff in
Yeah.
there. A
I know,
lot.
I feel like I'm missing a lot of context with like the 501st like squad, because
Oh,
everyone's
so
like
much.
so like for them, and I'm like, I want to be too, but I haven't seen the episodes yet.
And then all the Darth Maul stuff because he is in a lot.
Yeah.
And then the Asajj stuff too. Like you'll see a lot of Asajj and like a lot of like crazy team ups that she has to do. Yeah, you'll see. It's a lot of good stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
I know, I gotta catch up because I do feel out of the loop with Maul. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's so cool," and I'm like, "Really? He killed
Oh.
Qui-Gon? Like, I don't know."
Yeah. Oh, wait. And he's in Rebels too. So he's in Rebels a bunch. Um. Oh man, yeah. The Rebel stuff is so classic
Yeah. Well, I got that to look forward to.
for sure. So the last question might be a tough one too. Is who is your favorite Star Wars character out of everybody?
See that I have the same answer that I did with the movies. Like I have favorite characters for different reasons. Like I like Obi-Wan's like Britishness and how like funny he is just without even having to try. And
Yeah.
then I liked what I said about Padme, about just the dignity that she carries with her as like Queen of Naboo and then later as senator, and how passionate she is about helping people. And then I like Anakin's character because how could you not? Like he's the one that's like torn between like two sides, like light side, dark side, and he that's so compelling as a character. So I have to go. Can I have my answer be like the main like trio, like Obi-Wan, Padme, Anakin? I feel like that's such a go-to answer, but
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So for me, it's typically Maul, but it fluctuates between Maul, Anakin, and Boba Fett. Like those are my three right there. So Anakin's kind of a selfish one because that's like two for one because he's Vader. But
Mm.
um, but yeah,
Not
Maul.
really. You could consider them like two separate
Yeah,
characters.
that's true. That's true. But not just with Maul. All the stuff from Clone Wars and Rebels that you'll eventually see, you'll see why. Like this dude, oh man, yeah, he's a
Yeah.
legend. You'll see.
Yeah, maybe my answers will change when I finish watching Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, because then it might change. It could be Rex. Because Rex. There's so much in there. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
Yeah, well, those are good questions. I'm excited to hear how other people answer those questions. I'm gonna watch every one of your episodes, and I'll
Oh,
be
for
your
sure.
podcast number one fan.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I got a couple topics here, a couple articles. So I'm gonna share the screen.
Sounds good.
All right. So there was no Mando trailer on Christmas. We were deceived because I know
Oh
we were gonna talk about.
no.
Yeah, we were gonna talk about that. Um.
Yeah.
So no Mando trailer. So I'm gonna show you there is a list here of all the writers for all 8 episodes. So we'll take a look at that. But how hyped are you for Mando season 3 right now?
Honestly, if you would have asked me like 2 months ago, I would have been like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll watch it. But I hadn't rewatched Mando since, the last season came. And I don't know. I wasn't super into season 2, but that's because I didn't understand a lot of like the
Oh,
nostalgia and fan service of bringing in Ahsoka.
yeah.
And my perspective on season 2 of Mando has totally changed since I got more into Ahsoka's storyline. And I've been reading the Ahsoka novel and seeing Ahsoka in Clone Wars and Rebels because I'm watching those simultaneously for some reason. And so I rewatched and I was like, oh man, I remember season 1 was good. And it really is. It's a very, very, very good show. And then season 2 was the one I was always kind of on the fence about. But now that I
Oh.
have that context, I'm like, oh, season 2 is also very good. So now I'm really looking forward to season 3.
So once you finish Clone Wars and Rebels, you're gonna love Mando season 2 even more because Bo Katan is in Clone Wars a
Yeah.
lot, and she's also in Rebels. And then Cad Bane is in Clone Wars. I think he's in Rebels and he's in Bad Batch.
Yeah, I just saw him in the Bad Batch episode I watched
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah. So like seeing him, yeah. So seeing those guys live action, and then Ahsoka and then her name dropping Thrawn. I remember that episode because I was already in shock we got Ahsoka live action because I already appreciated her so much. And then she gave us Grogu's name, like, damn, like that's kind of a big deal. And then when she name dropped Thrawn, I jumped up out of my couch and I screamed because I'm like, no, because you'll see in Rebels why Thrawn is such a badass. Because like ah, he's just crazy. He's like one of the top 3 like villains in all of Star Wars. He's
Mhm.
so ruthless, and like what makes him different is he's not a Jedi, he's not a Sith, no lightsaber. He's just very smart, and he's always like 2 steps ahead of you.
That's
So
what I've heard, yeah. See, if I
oh
would have heard, like, the name drop and maybe I did, I don't remember. I kind of slept through season 2 the first time I watched it, to be honest, and I'm
yeah.
still in the process of rewatching it, but I've been enjoying it a lot more. But if I had heard Thrawn, I'd be like, "Oh, my brother will appreciate that," because my brother is a huge Thrawn fan. He's read all of the Thrawn books, and
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh, good for him. He gets Thrawn." But now, I'm like, I haven't seen where Thrawn comes in at
It's
Rebels
like the
yet.
second I think it's the second season. If it isn't, it's the 3rd and 4th. And, like, that's the whole thing of the Ahsoka show is finding Thrawn and Ezra, and you'll see why.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
suppose
now I know Ezra, so that'll be good. Honestly, am
Ezra.
I going to be able to finish watching Rebels and Clone Wars before March 15th? I don't know.
That's up to you. You have to be dedicated
We'll
or
see.
Google, like, must-watch episodes of with, like, Ezra and Thrawn and just
Mm,
narrow it down to those to skip all the filler. But,
mm.
you're definitely gonna when March comes, it'll be Mando, so you don't really gotta worry about, Ezra and Thrawn, but you need to have it done by whenever Ahsoka comes out.
Okay. Yeah. I'll buckle down.
Because
I'll finish
Ahsoka
watching Bad Batch this week.
yeah, Ahsoka literally is like season 5 of Rebels. Like, there was an article where they had scripts for season 5 Rebels, but they canceled it and scrapped it, and they're gonna use most of it for the Ahsoka show.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I've heard something like that, that Ahsoka is kind of like, well, but maybe it wasn't Ahsoka, but there's a show coming up that's like the Rebels sequel.
and that got canceled, and it's just gonna be live action now.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be good. So who
so
do we got here?
So here are the writers. So John Fav is on all of them,
Mm-hmm.
which is no surprise. That's his baby. This dude right here, I had no idea who he is, but they mentioned here he was one of the writers on the Book of Boba.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's kind of like a hint that hey, maybe Boba Fett's gonna be in this episode, or
Mm.
yeah. So, it if we did get a Boba cameo, I'm calling it right now. It's right here.
That's some detective work.
Yeah, and then if Ahsoka's in it, which she probably will be, or if we see Sabine here for the first time, it'll be in 4
Mm.
or in 7 because Dave Filoni's on there. So,
Mm. That'd be awesome. I'm excited for live action Sabine.
oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So I kind of like that John is on all these. That way, the story and like will stay consistent the whole way through. Because sometimes if it's all different writers on every one, it'll kind of be
Yeah.
random episodes that don't connect.
Which is kind
So
of what happened with Kenobi, isn't it?
yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, a lot happened with Kenobi, but we'll get into that.
You're like, so much happened.
Yeah, it did, and like, yeah, that's a whole long thing, but we'll get into that for sure.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was excited to see this, so we should be in good hands for sure. Now,
Yeah,
next
Jon
up,
Favreau is the Mandalorian writer, isn't he?
yep, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he's good. He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, I trust him. If yeah, I trust him. So now this, I don't know how much we'll get into this, and there was a different article, but I picked this one because the other one had a lot of like Rebels spoilers that you haven't seen yet. I mean, some of it you might have heard about, but do you know anything about this? The potential Revenge of the Sith Ahsoka stuff?
No. No,
Oh,
I know you guys share like the leaks articles to like the group chat, and I'm like, no, I must resist. But
well, this is
uh,
a rumor,
mhm.
but do you want me to talk about it a little bit, or do you want to
Yeah, do it.
stay?
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I came prepared. Like, there's gonna be some like leaks and stuff. Bring it.
so do you know what the world between worlds is? Have you heard about that from Rebels and Ezra?
No, I keep hearing that. For some reason, I thought it was like a Stranger Things thing. And I haven't watched Stranger Things, so I'm like, I guess it's that, but is it Star Wars?
No, so the world between worlds, it's an episode of Rebels, and so basically what it is, it's like this magical place that Ezra gets into, and it's kind of like a hallway, and there's all these like portals, they're like doors, and as he's walking by, he sees different moments in Star Wars history, like
Oh,
big iconic
wow.
moments.
Ah,
Yeah.
that sounds cool.
Yeah, so the episode was really, really cool. And like I won't say what happened from that because a big thing happens and it's like a big thing, but like it's not that it's gonna spoil it, but I mean, it's something to do with Ahsoka, and clearly, she's alive because she's in Mando, and that's afterwards.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you get to the episode, you'll see it. But the rumor is for the Ahsoka show is that she goes into the world between worlds, and she sees different portals of like kind of like what if scenarios, like what if she did this instead of that, and
Whoa.
yeah, which it's if this happens, it's mind blowing, like really mind blowing. But this was one of the scenarios, and this scenario is oh, and you haven't even got to it yet in Clone Wars, but oh well, I guess I could say it right from Clone Wars, kind of.
I don't know. What is it?
Well, hmm.
Hmm.
Well, it has to do with Ahsoka not doing something, like leaving and then coming back.
Okay, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but because I watched the Kenobi part and Obi-Wan's encounter with Darth Vader and his like mask being broken open, I
Uh-huh.
know there's a very similar scene with Ahsoka and Darth Vader because a lot of people were drawing those parallels. So if that helps at all, I don't know if it has anything
Oh
to do with
no.
that.
Well, there was a scene like that, and I actually think we're getting that too, but that's like another portal. and that in itself is crazy because it literally is just that. But yeah, Dave did it first in Rebels, but it's the same thing. You'll see that in Rebels, and it actually does kind of connect to the World Between Worlds, but not in this. But let's just say for this, instead of Obi-Wan fighting Anakin and Mustafar, it would be Ahsoka. So Ahsoka would be there trying to
Oh.
talk Anakin down, and like that whole
Mm.
conversation back and forth when he comes off the ship and Padme's there, it would be her there instead. And
Yeah.
supposedly, I don't know if it's going to be a big fight sequence or a big like talking sequence, but it would be like, what if
Mm.
she was fighting Anakin instead of Obi-Wan? Because she would still be
Yeah.
there with the Jedi Order.
That's
So
so interesting because I feel like if it had been Ahsoka that had snuck onto Padme's ship, if nothing else, Padme would feel alive because, or would be alive still because
yeah,
Anakin felt like Padme was like conspiring with Obi-Wan and he felt like very turned against. I think it's because there was always like a frenemies thing happening
yeah,
between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like Anakin always felt like Obi-Wan was kind of holding him back. But with Ahsoka, they had a much more like friendly, like sibling relationship because Ahsoka's like his younger sister, whereas Obi-Wan's like his older brother. So
yeah.
there's a little bit more antagonism there. So yeah, those definitely would have had different outcomes. I feel like Ahsoka would have been a much better candidate for talking Anakin back from the dark side.
Yeah. So, I mean, Hayden Christensen, he's confirmed for the show, but they're saying that he's going to be in his Revenge of the Sith attire. So they'll have him wearing that again, de-aged, just like he was in Kenobi. So that's
Mm.
one of like 3 or 4 crazy World Between World things that they're talking about.
Do you think they'll bring Padme back? Do you
No,
think Padme will be in one of those?
well, it would be awesome if she was in this one because I mean, she's still working for Disney. She's doing all the Thor stuff. She was just in
Mm-hmm.
Thor. So like that would be crazy if we saw that in that scene because she was there. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
There's that there I
Well,
mean, there's that chance.
well, in like the fantasy pin world, which fantasy just means like fan art pins,
Uh-huh.
like pins that people like produce and trade, and they're all like based on fan art. There's a lot of fantasy pins of like Anakin, Padme, and the twins as like a happy family, and the twins never get
Yeah.
separated, and Anakin and Padme, stay together. I'm like, oh, that would be so heartbreaking to see in live action, just like the whole family
Oh.
together.
Yeah. I don't know if they do anything like that. It'd be cool, or it'd be cool if they did like a whole what if show where they did like scenarios like that just to see like,
Hmm.
hey, what if this happened? What if Anakin and Padme left and they had Luke and Leia together and they grew up as a family
Hmm.
somewhere? That would be insane.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd watch that.
But yeah, the rest of the leaks from this are super Rebel spoilers, basically. But like every possible scenario, if it's true, like if it's one episode, it's gonna break the internet. Like the internet's gonna be destroyed after that because it's gonna be too much to handle. So
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited for Ahsoka. I gotta finish watching all those other shows because, yeah,
you
there
got a
was so
lot.
much, especially from the Book of Boba Fett when Cad Bane came out and there was like that like Western like standoff
Oh,
with Cobb Vanth. I was like, this feels
yes.
so random and out of place. But,
Oh,
having seen him in the past, I'm like, okay, now I guess it makes sense.
and like you're gonna see, but like Cat Bane, like he fought Anakin, Kenobi all the time, and there's a couple times where he kind of won, and that's crazy because they're Jedi's and he's just a bounty hunter. Like that's how like badass he is. He's also the one that trained Jango Fett, so he made like Jango Fett be like,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So you'll see stuff with him and Boba Fett in the Clone Wars too, like for sure.
Mm, awesome.
So, have you seen any of the set leaks from the Acolyte show, the pictures?
So I have not. So pretty much all I know about the Acolyte is that it's in like the High Republic era before everything, like all the films and stuff, like way before.
Yeah, so I think they confirmed it's exactly like 100 years before Phantom Menace. And allegedly, it's supposed to show how the Sith infiltrated into the Jedi Council. Because, like in the Phantom Menace, they were already in there and like kind of running things behind the scenes. This is supposed to show like how that happens, which is like super intriguing to see. Like, how did Palps and all them like get in there and nobody knew? So,
Yeah.
so,
Do we get to learn about Darth Plagueis the Wise?
so that's actual big rumor that he might be in the show and he might be some character supposedly, and that nobody knows that it's Darth Plagueis because like it's right around the
Mm.
time of him. So that would be
Oh, cool.
super awesome if they do that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But the one thing I like about this is from the pictures. So I'm not sure what she is, her character, but that's one person. This girl is actually this girl. She was from the Logan movie. I don't know if you ever saw that Wolverine
Yeah,
movie.
I did.
That's the little girl,
Oh,
X20, what's her
wow.
X22 or X23, whatever the little girl's name, or X24. She's something X. That's her. She's in
Oh,
this.
wow.
Yeah, and I want to say that that's her in makeup and costume.
Whoa,
So,
that's crazy.
yeah, she's grown
She
now.
looks
She's not
so
the little
different.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I guess Logan was like much longer time ago than I thought.
Yeah, it was like early 2000s, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's one shot and I was like, "Okay, that's cool." So the next one is this guy, Lee Jung Jae from the Netflix Squid Game show. So he's in here, and from his clothes, he's clearly a Jedi. Like that's like Jedi outfit 101 right there.
Yeah, he's got the tunic going on. It's cool that it looks very different. Like we'll get to see a different era of Jedi
Yeah.
tunics, which will be neat.
So there's that, and then this little guy right here, whoever he is, Dean Charles Chapman, he's a Padawan. He's got like the little Padawan braid there,
Yeah.
his little robes. So we're definitely gonna
Yeah.
see little Padawans, different color lightsabers, which will be cool.
hmm Can I make some hard-hitting commentary?
Yeah, of course.
So the tunics are so much more yellow, like golden yellow, and then,
Yes.
in the movies we know they're like all light beige. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes to it being the High Republic, because if you look at the cover of all the books and all the
Yeah.
comics, it's all like shiny, crispy gold, like brand new, fresh.
hmm Yeah, there's a
So
lot of gold and then there's a lot of like chocolate brown. So
yeah.
yeah, it's fitting that color scheme for sure.
So this one got me excited. A Wookiee.
I love his like top knot. It's
Yeah.
so cute.
So he's got his little Jedi robes. It's like the same thing that
Yeah.
gold, but I know the minute I see him ignite a saber, I'm gonna be so happy. Like, so happy, because that's something I think we've only saw in Clone Wars. You'll see it, and he was in the new Bad Batch trailer, but there's a youngling that's a Wookiee that has a lightsaber.
hmm
His name's
Yeah.
Gunji. So, that's kinda cool there, and it's gonna be interesting because he's just probably gonna talk like Chewbacca, so it'll be funny seeing him talk to people and them
Yeah.
understanding what he's saying,
Yeah. That seems like a fire hazard with all that fur so close
right?
to the lightsaber.
Yeah. And this last one, this girl, she's a Zabrak, which I believe that's what Maul species is.
Mm.
Zabrak. So
hmm
I don't know if she's a good guy or a bad guy. She's smiling here, but she's clearly not in character. So I guess we'll have to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
But
Makeup looks cool though.
yeah. So it's kind of cool, a different variety of like humans, aliens, Wookiees. So
Yeah.
this show has a lot of potential.
That'll be exciting. I think that's what Star Wars kind of needs. It's just like a huge time jump. Like,
Yeah.
show us something very different because we've been very much in like Mandalorian, and as cool as
Yep.
Mandalorian is, and like the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka is, it's still like very much within the same time frame that we're used to.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
All right. So next we could talk Kenobi.
Yes.
So I'll let you kick this off because I know you had some
Sure.
feelings about it. So
Yeah, honestly, so I started my channel with Kenobi because I just had to talk about it. And it was kind of like an
yeah,
over the weekend decision where I saw the first episode and I was like, oh, I feel like I need to talk about it. So that's the whole reason we're talking right now is because of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which in part is why it's my favorite show so
Yeah.
far, because it's the one that like brought me out into like the YouTube Star Wars community. But ever since I finished watching Obi-Wan, I always kind of wanted to like talk about it, like debrief, like this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that. So I'm like dying to talk about Kenobi.
Yes. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, so there's so much about it that I liked, especially episode 5 and 6. I really liked the flashback scene at the Jedi Temple.
Oh,
There was
yes.
just something about another,
Oh,
like, Attack of the Clones, Anakin, and
yes.
Obi-Wan
Oh,
that I just missed so much. So that was
so
amazing.
beautiful, those scenes. Ah, give me
Mhm.
goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it.
I was so confused too because the episode starts with a flashback scene, but it's only like 5 seconds long. And I was like, wait, that's it? That's how long
Yeah.
the flashback scene that we've been waiting for is? But then, they showed
It was
like
sprinkled
more of
in.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sprinkled it in. So I was like, okay, I guess. Yeah, that made up for that. And then with the finale episode, it was just so like heartbreaking seeing Obi-Wan encounter Darth Vader or Anakin as Darth Vader for the first time,
Yeah.
and it reminded me so much of watching Revenge of the Sith, which I was not expecting. I did not go into the finale episode thinking like, oh, there's going to be like so much Revenge of the Sith vibes. So I was
Yeah.
very pleasantly like surprised slash heartbroken by that in like the best way. Cause it's like, what a great like throwback to episode 3.
Yeah.
So
No, for sure.
honestly, just because of episode 6 alone, even though there's so much with like Riva's plotline that like I found confusing, like why is she going after Luke? Like there were so many qualms that I had with episode 6, but there was so much like good and like just pure nostalgia that came out of the finale episode that I'm like that
Yeah.
alone is enough to make it my favorite Star Wars show yet.
So for sure, the finale definitely saved it because, like, man, I get teary eyed every time, like, that conversation
Me
that they
too.
had and hearing his voice change between Anakin and that, and seeing his eyes go from yellow back to blue, back to yellow.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Obi-Wan's voice in that whole
yeah, he was
scene is so
broken.
heartbreaking. Yeah,
That
it does
that
hit me in the feels.
that saved it, but, like, the Riva thing is what, like, I don't wanna say ruined the show for me, but, like, if let's just say you took Riva out, the show would have been a lot better because they could have focused on Anakin and, Obi-Wan more, and, like, with Riva, the whole concept of her is kind of dope, like, she survived, Order 66, she got mad at the Jedi, she turned to be an Inquisitor. That's cool in itself, but, like, nobody survives getting hit by Anakin and Vader with a lightsaber, I'm sorry, and poor
Yeah,
Qui-Gon gets one from Maul and he's done, and this person with no training survives. That
twice
right
because
Yeah,
she gets impaled by Anakin in episode 5, and then she keeps going on to fight Luke for some reason.
Exactly, so that right there bothered me. If she woulda
Mhm,
died when Vader hit her, like, okay, she sacrificed herself, great arc, it ended perfect, but now
mhm.
she survived and, like, Obi-Wan didn't take her out, so now she's running around the galaxy knowing who Luke is, that just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
So, I felt like
It just didn't make sense to me why, because there was no reason for Riva to understand the connection. Like, what was the connection between Luke? And she did it not to really get back at Obi-Wan, as I recall. It was like, I
to
don't know,
get
was
back
it
at
to get back
Vader.
at.
Yeah.
How would that have been getting back at Vader? Because she had no idea the connection between Vader and Luke. So that whole thing was very confusing, especially how she was able to find him. Because a lot of people will justify it saying, like, well, she met what's the uncle's name again? I
Owen.
forget. But yeah, she meets Uncle Owen like very early on in the season. And he mentions that he lives out in a farm, like a moisture farm. And so we're supposed to believe that she like remembers this conversation that she had with this moisture farmer that she felt was like far below her.
Yep.
And like it was just so weird. Like we're supposed to believe she remembers that enough to like go and find Luke. Like it was all very, very odd to me. But I loved like the revenge of I love that they brought Christian Haydenson in. I love the like the whole interaction and I still tear up too. Like I felt so silly because I had to like edit quite a bit of that part out because I'm like, well, I can't just show the whole like scene like verbatim. I'll get like
Yeah.
copyright strike for showing all of it. So I had to cut a lot of it out. And as I was editing it, watching like my little screen recording, I would like tear up. And I'm like, this is so dumb. I'm watching like this tiny screen recording of
Yeah.
the episode, and so I'm tearing up, and then me and like the footage that I took is tearing up. I'm like, this is so dumb, but that's just how emotional it is.
Yeah, and, like, I'm probably gonna get like that in the Ahsoka show if there's stuff with Anakin, like, oh,
Yeah, for
man, and it's gonna
sure.
be all over the internet, I don't care, like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so meaningful, but
Yeah. I'll be
yeah.
more prepared for it though. I wasn't as
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
with like Kenobi. I was prepared for a flashback. I was not prepared for, what they did with the finale episode emotionally. I was like, I didn't know what to do with all those feelings. I was like,
Yeah.
this encounter is so sad because I think they had it like getting ready for like this epic battle, but it didn't really end up being like an epic lightsaber battle. It was just like an emotional thing where Anakin gets exposed and then we like see like his eyes change color and you can hear like Christian Haydenson's voice and like Vader's voice like mixed in. Like it's just
Yeah.
so interesting what they did and I love what they did with that. Here's one thing I didn't like. I didn't
Mhm.
like that the whole like all of the episodes, basically episodes 1 through 4. Well, maybe not 1 through 4 because I think Leia gets kidnapped at the very end of episode 1, or
Yeah.
maybe yeah, I think it was at the end of episode 1, but episodes 2 through 4 or 2 through 5, something like that. Like
Uh-huh.
the bulk of the show, it just kind of feels like the babysitting show. Like it just kind of feels like Obi-Wan like
Y
babysitting
y
Leia and I'm like this feels so like kiddish and why would they
yeah.
do this?
Yeah, she got kidnapped twice, like, really? Like, come on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure, that definitely they could have done away with that. I mean, this
Yeah.
show should have been a home run, but, like, just adding the Riva in to try to introduce a new character, like, they should have did that in another show. The Leia stuff, like you said, for me too, was the music, like, where's the Star Wars music? This is Kenobi. Like,
Yeah.
in the trailer, they used Duel of the Fates. Like, what?
Um,
And
yeah.
and in that final battle, like, they should have played it. Have you seen any of the edits on YouTube where fans edited in?
No. So
Oh.
I wanted to watch the fan edit and now it's been so long that I'm thinking I'll watch it once Obi-Wan Kenobi hits like its 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, just you'll see there's people that edited in a couple people edited in Duel of the Fates, and then a couple people did Battle of the Heroes. Oh, it makes the fight so much better by, like, a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
And I would have
So,
wanted them to like have changed it up because otherwise I feel like they just like spliced,
remix it. Yeah, they could
episode.
remix it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have wanted like a revamped version of it that, fits the tone of the series, but I would have liked to hear those similar themes like you're saying.
Exactly, like in Tales of the Jedi, when Yaddle
Mhm.
was fighting, like, that was a new
Yeah,
song, but that
it
sounded kinda
was.
just yeah.
Yeah, it had very Revenge of the Sith vibes with like the
Y
choir and everything, so that was cool.
exactly, so they shoulda had stuff like that, so, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know if they're gonna do a second season. I would love it. Well, I would love it if it was about Obi-Wan training with Qui-Gon. I wouldn't love
Mhm.
it if it was like a Riva season, because then it's kinda like you're taking away more Kenobi from me, like, I want as much Human as I could get, I'm very greedy, but
Yeah, me too.
Like, they should have put Riva, like, in Andor. If Riva would have been in Andor running around doing stuff, I would have liked her a lot more, but just Kenobi, it just took too much from Ewan and Hayden, like yeah.
Yeah, it took way too long for us to get to the flashback. I would have wanted more flashback. I just wanted more callbacks. And I could have done so there were some interactions between young Leia and Obi-Wan that I did actually really appreciate.
Yeah.
Like when she's talking to Leia about her parents. I thought
Oh,
that was really sweet.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
dialogue I liked. I think they just overdid it with the Obi-Wan young Leia dialogue and it ended up really like hitting the show down in terms of like, age. Like it felt more like a kid show during
Yeah.
some of those episodes. Like, yeah. And I kind of wish they had gone with And I think the actress that played young Leia did great, but I kind of
She
wish,
did.
in order for the show to feel a little bit more mature and not so kiddish, I wish they would gone with an older actress. Like instead
Hmm.
of young Leia being like 10, maybe she could have been like, you know, 15 or, not
Yeah.
quite so young. Because you know what I really would have liked? I would have liked to see young Leia's arc from, being the Princess of Alderaan to really being a rebel. And I think we
Yeah.
kind of got hints of that, but I would have really liked to see that like 180 turn.
And maybe that's something they could do in season two. Like it'd be a little bit later. She's a little bit older. Who knows? But yeah, that'd be cool to see her older for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But whenever I look back and think back about Kenobi, I literally block everything out, and all I see is the finale and everything with Vader and Ewan. That's all I see. And those
Yeah.
flashbacks were priceless. What they should have did to really make every episode juicy, they should have started every episode off with one of those flashbacks. That way it would
Mm-hmm.
accumulate over all six. Because there are a couple
Yeah.
episodes where it's like there's no flashbacks, no nothing. So that would
Yeah,
have
and it could have
hyped.
been different people's flashbacks. Like I wouldn't have minded a Reva flashback, like early on,
Yeah,
or a Senator Bale or Ghana flashback. Like they could have traded it off, but yeah, I felt like it was very strange because they pitched it as an Inquisitor's show. But I'm like, you understand, you have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in this show. Like you can't just have an Inquisitor show with Obi-Wan and Anakin as like side characters. Like there's no possible way. So
yeah,
it just felt very strange the way the focus shifted from the team of Inquisitors to like it just felt very strange. Like, is this the same show? Is this about Kenobi? Is this about Riva? Like it
yeah,
just that was strange to me. So but I'm so happy they did it. Honestly, like it was just amazing to get Ewan McGregor back on screen saying like
yeah.
Obi-Wan lines. Like it just made it all worth it for me, even with all the parts I didn't appreciate.
So I'm glad they made it too, and they got him back because now he's like happy. So
Yeah.
I was at Celebration this year, and he was there. And this year's celebration was Hewan's first ever convention ever. Before this, he's never done any of them. So
Oh
he did
wow.
celebrate. Yeah, it was his first convention, his first celebration, and like he looked I saw this dude at least 4 or 5 times. I felt like he was my best friend, but you could see the genuine look in his face of happiness and appreciation from all the love that he got. Because one time he was on a stage that was in the exhibit hall, and, like, everybody went nuts. He was on the stage in the main hall at least 2 or 3 different times. Everybody went nuts, and, like, you could see he was, like, kind of overwhelmed with joy because like, he was getting
Mm,
so much love. Even at the watch party, they did the red carpet there, and he was just so happy and appreciative. And the same with
yeah.
Hayden too. Even though Hayden
Yeah.
does the conventions and stuff, he was
Mhm.
just like so happy and lost for words. So I'm glad that
Yeah,
they
because now they're surrounded by the people that appreciate the prequels.
exactly. So I'm glad they got the recognition that they deserve, and they see that no, we love the prequels, we want more. Like come,
Mhm.
come, come. So
Yes.
it was it,
I want a season 2 of Obi-Wan all about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
yeah, me too. Um,
He does such a good job.
what'd you think about that Qui-Gon at the end though?
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy they ended the whole season with that. It just felt like
Yeah.
a really nice like cherry on top
Yep.
to what I felt was a great like final 2 episodes. But it did like leave us wanting more. Like, I don't know, it would have been nice to
Yes.
have heard his voice more throughout the season.
Yeah. And
So,
I think there were rumors that like at one point when he was calling out to because he called out to Qui-Gon a bunch of times. I think at one
yeah.
point he was supposed to kind of like say something and kind of like hype him up before that fight with Vader to like motivate him, but maybe they cut it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was very, very like silent. I think maybe they just didn't want to dilute like the Obi-Wan Anakin-ness of it by like, introducing like Qui-Gon into the like Qui-Gon's dialogue. I think they wanted it just be purely Obi-Wan's dialogue and Anakin's dialogue. But I'm definitely glad they included him, and
Yeah.
I feel like um Dang it. I know his name literally all the time, and then right now I can't think of it.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Yeah. And he seems really happy to be back as Qui-Gon as well, which is nice.
Yeah, he even was the voice in Tales too.
Yeah, well, I feel like Force Qui-Gon has so much knowledge to give us because Qui-Gon is the one that teaches Yoda like how to become a Force ghost and
Yep.
at least a visible Force ghost. I'm not really sure, but he's even so much more advanced than Yoda even that I feel like we haven't gotten enough of Qui-Gon after he's defeated by Maul. So I'd love another season of Kenobi.
Did you get to the Clone Wars yet with Qui Gon in it?
Clone Wars with
The
Qui-Gon.
animated?
No.
Oh, you're gonna see he's in it too. You're gonna see some Qui Gon stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
Force Qui-Gon? Force Ghost Qui-Gon?
you'll see. You'll
Oh,
see.
okay. Well, that'll
Yeah,
be good.
yeah, you'll see for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I was glad they had him at the end, and it was just great. He was like, he had a smart alecky remark like, "It's about time you got here. I've been waiting." Like,
Yeah.
oh,
That hit me in the feels too.
yeah. But
That
then it
we
was
just
like,
weren't ready to see.
yeah, and then it was like, that's
Mhm.
it. Oh man. So,
Yeah, I love that line too.
so yeah, that's Kenobi for you. But yeah, I'll still take it. But if they do a second season, hopefully, they give it to like John and Dave to do. That way, it'll be A1.
Yeah, just more like consistent. Like I wanted to feel like the same show from start to finish, and I don't feel like that was the case with the first season.
So did you hear about what the original script was for it? How it was a movie?
I probably did around the time Obi-Wan Kenobi came out. But no, I don't remember the specifics of what the script was like.
So it came out more recently too. The original writer. So they basically took his story for the most part. It was supposed to be a trilogy, so it was going to be three movies. And the first movie, they took that and stretched it into the six episodes that we got. And a lot of the same stuff was in there, but the Riva stuff was supposed to she was supposed to die in it. That was her arc, was to like
Mm,
sacrifice herself. And then I believe in the second movie he wanted it to be Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon training together. And then I
mm.
forgot what the third movie was supposed to be, but they took his idea for the first movie and stretched it out. That's why some of it feels kind of random because they had to fill up an hour of six episodes from a one movie script, supposedly.
Yeah. I need to go look up that script.
Yeah, you'll see it. There's a good article somewhere. It's probably on the direct, but yeah, when I read that, I was like furious. I'm like, we could have got a trilogy,
Oh,
and
that would have been awesome.
I think they pitched it around the time of when The Last Jedi came out. So I think since that didn't do as well as they wanted, they kind of were like, no, we're not doing a Kenobi movie or something. Like it either had to do
Well,
with,
that's not fair. Those are totally
yeah,
different films.
exactly. It was either during that time or the Solo movie. It was because of one of those two. They were like, no, we're not doing a Kenobi trilogy, and we got robbed of
But
greatness.
didn't The Last Jedi do well, like financially? It just didn't receive like good, like
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe it was Solo then, because after The Last Jedi, Solo kind of bombed according to their standards.
Mm,
I mean, I didn't mind Solo,
I like
but
Solo, yeah.
yeah, because for Solo, I wanted three things done. I wanted to see how Han met Chewie. I wanted to see
Mhm.
how he got the Falcon, and there was something else, but I know they did all three.
I
And
just
then,
wanted to see why he becomes like really jaded and why he can't trust
yeah,
people. And I feel like
yeah.
they gave us that with, Kira and then with what's his name? The other guy.
Oh, Dryden Voss.
No, not Dryden. The one that pretends to also be like his
Oh,
friend.
Woody Harrelson's guy. I forgot his something
I
something. I think
swear,
I have the
isn't it
Funko
Beckett?
somewhere. Yeah, yeah. Beckett Harris or Harris Beckett or something something.
Oh, I don't remember. But yeah, it's funny to see like because he let himself trust people early on in Solo, but then, they all kind of betray him. So I got what I wanted out of Solo. I liked Han's story arc.
So the funny thing is, back then I hadn't seen Clone Wars, right? So when they showed Maul, I was like, he's dead.
What?
How is this
Yeah.
I was so confused, but then I
Yeah.
did my research and I'm like, "Oh, he's alive." But,
Yeah.
like, that really shocked me because 'cause I'm like, "I thought you were dead, bro, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
So, after that, that kinda, like, pushed me into getting into Clone Wars, and then I just binged through it, and then Rebels too, so
Yeah, and then I heard somewhere that George Lucas's treatment of the sequel trilogy, like Maul was gonna be the big bad, so apparently
oh,
Maul was always supposed to come back.
s so, I so the funny thing is, and you know I'm kind of the mall expert, but so when Filoni was writing Clone Wars, Dave said to them, be like, "Wouldn't it be cool if you brought Maul back?" And then Dave was like, "Well, he's dead. How would I do that?" And George said, "I'll just figure it out." So that was George's pitch to Filoni, and Filoni brought Maul back, which is crazy. Like that's such a random conversation. Oh, you'll figure it out. Let's bring Maul back to life. And then
Yeah.
for the sequel trilogy, George kind of wrote out. I don't know if he wrote out all three or the first one, but yeah, Maul was the main villain. He had a Padawan. I think her name is Darth Talon. It's like a female Sith, and it was gonna be like Luke dealing with fighting him, which would have been
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, I know. You can do that some of the times. Like you can bring back Maul. What you can't do is bring back Maul and then also bring back Palpatine in the sequel trilogy.
Oh,
Like
I
that
know.
doesn't make sense. You
Yeah,
have to pick and choose who you bring back.
yeah, and that Palpatine seemed just like a Hail Mary, like what's gonna bring people in. And it did,
Yeah.
because when I heard his laugh in the trailer, I was so happy, like, "Oh, my guy's back." Even though it didn't make sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's a whole other episode that we'll have to get into because I can talk about the sequel trilogy for another hour.
Oh, no, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that's there yeah, no, for sure. Alright, so the next thing I got is Fallen Order, the sequel, Jedi Survivor. So, you saw the trailer, right, for the game? The new game?
I did not, because I did
Oh
not want any spoilers.
Oh, okay. Well, at least what I have here is not really any spoiler stuff. So, um, are you gonna play the first game?
I'm planning on it. So here's the thing. There's so much happening with just old Star Wars stuff that I'm not caught up with. I still have to finish Rebels. I have to finish Clone Wars. And then there's all
Yeah,
the new stuff coming out with Ahsoka, and we get Mando season 3 next year and Bad Batch season 2 early next year.
yeah.
And I still have to play the new Lego Skywalker saga.
There's a lot. There's a lot in that.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of my priority in terms of games is I have to play the new Lego. Because honestly, I was so much more a fan of Star Wars after I played Lego Star Wars, the original, the complete
yeah.
saga,
They're
because there were
fun.
so many storylines that like hadn't quite sunk in that I didn't understand. Ironically, until I played them through in Lego Star Wars, which is just so silly because you could
Yeah,
argue it's a kid's game, but it gave me so much more appreciation and so much more appreciation for the music too because it plays on loop that it really like seeps into your brain
yeah. No, for
playing Lego
sure.
Star Wars because it's just playing like constantly. And I got so much more into Star Wars from playing Lego Star Wars that it's, kind of also partly the reason I'm here because I don't know if I would be into Star Wars as much as I am today if I hadn't played, Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga like years and years ago.
Yeah.
Because that made me want to rewatch all the movies and compare it to the game, funnily enough. So I really want to play the new Lego, but I do want to play Jedi Fallen Order because it does look very, very cool.
So if you don't get to play it because you have a lot on your plate, you got a lot of work to
I
do.
know.
I mean, you could always just watch like the cinematics on YouTube just to see the
Spoilers!
story. I mean, it is, but the story is so awesome. Oh, it's so awesome. It's better
But I
than
want to live through it. I want to work for it. I want to get the
yeah.
game and have earned the cutscenes.
No, for sure. You'll have to be cautious though, because in March there'll probably be so many spoilers once this game is out on like what happens and all that stuff. But
Yeah. There's just so much to do. But I have to watch Clone Wars. I have
oh,
to.
for sure. So what I have here is the pre-order purchase bonuses, which I thought were kind of cool. So if you pre-order the regular version, you get this hermit cosmetic, which is basically Kenobi's outfit from the Kenobi show. So that's
Hmm.
kind of cool. You can run around dressed like Kenobi with like
Mm.
a saber that kind of looks like his and a blaster.
Hermit lightsaber.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
Love
all
that.
Kenobi. And then if you pre-order the deluxe, you get the Han Solo outfit.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
this BD1 cosmetic almost looks like it's like Kashyyyk, like Wookiee inspired kind of.
Hmm.
And then
Kind of
Han's
makes me think of Chopper too, with like the
a
green.
little bit, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Han blaster, and this is clearly Yavin Luke with
Mm-hmm.
R2 and Luke's saber.
Oh my gosh, R2 BD1 is awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
I'm
so
definitely
cool.
grabbing the deluxe. That way I could play with all these. But yeah, that's pretty cool right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, that's awesome. So I have to buy the deluxe before I've played the first game.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome. When does that release?
March 17th, 16th, one of those 2 days it releases. So
Like right around
mid-March.
the time the game comes out?
Wait, what'd you ask? You asked when does this game release, right?
Yeah, the pre-purchase.
Oh no, yeah, you have to just buy it before the release date, which is March 17th, and then once the game comes
Oh.
out, once you download it, you'll have all these skins on there.
And then this goes away, the pre-purchase stuff.
Yeah, well, I think so, but I think it'll still be there afterwards.
Okay, because I do love Luke's Yavin metal jacket. That's so cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool running around playing in that. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
then there's also this set, which I almost pulled the trigger, but then I was like, wait a minute, I kind of did some math. But
Mm.
you get a version of the game, whether it's PS5 or Xbox, you get this cool steel book, which is kind of
Hmm.
cool.
That
And
is
then
cool.
yeah, and then you get this lightsaber case with Cal's lightsaber.
Mm.
So I
Love the
saw,
steelbook. The
yeah.
artwork's cool on that.
Oh no, for sure. So I saw it, but then I was like 299, and like for that
Mm.
price, I could buy I think two Cal Kestis lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge because they sell them there, and you could connect it. Because in the game, at one point, he
Mm.
connects it, and you could dual wield it if you want. But
Mm.
this is still a cool little like
Yeah.
collector's thing.
So what's the only thing you can't buy separately? The steelbook?
Well, yeah, the steelbook in this case, because
Oh,
like
wow.
the Cal Kestis at Galaxy's Edge doesn't come in this fancy case.
Okay.
So
It's kind of expensive for the steelbook and the case.
nah, it is. So yeah, I was like, I won't do that. No.
Hmm.
So that's definitely something cool.
Oh, you got the
Now,
Duel of the Fates one. That was the important
oh yeah,
lightsaber set.
that box. I'm still shocked that I got it. It makes me so happy.
That's a good one.
So next, I got a couple of collectibles that are coming soon. So these bad boys, and I think we've talked about it
Oh.
before, like in the group chat. But like,
Yeah.
what'd you think when you saw this?
I feel like it's very original. We've never seen these characters done before, so that's good.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. To be honest, if they go on clearance, I'll probably still buy like a lot of stormtroopers because I just like the
Oh,
idea of
army
having
build
like,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 stormtroopers standing together. I don't know if I would buy Luke again. I don't know. It bums me out because I wish they had released the black base first and then released the silver base just kind of as like a collector's edition. Like, look at the silver base, it's different. But
Yeah.
I would have preferred to have them in the black base so that it matches all of the other Funkos in my display, and I wouldn't have gone for the silver ones, I don't think. Maybe just
Yeah.
like Luke or Leia. But now I'm like, I have the silver ones and I kind of prefer the black ones, but they release them later.
At first, I didn't notice the black bases. Like when I saw it, I was so confused. I'm like, wait a minute, those are the celebration ones. Like, what do you mean you're releasing them? So I kind of feel shafted because like I went to celebration, I actually won the raffle and I got into Funko, which is a challenge in itself. And like my reward is, oh, it's gonna be everywhere for everyone. It's kind of like it takes it away the like specialness of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool for the people that couldn't get it. But a lot of the shared exclusives were super easy to get, and they're still available now. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
just
can see that. I mean, you went all the way there. You made the effort, to
yeah,
get into the lottery system. I mean, it takes work to do that, and then like everyone can get them at any time. I kind of wish they had kept the silver basis like special for the convention, and then release the black bases like way
as the
later for everyone
shared.
else. Yeah, because then you know that you have the one that was exclusive
Yeah,
to the convention and no one else could have gotten that. But then people can get the blackface later.
yeah. But yeah, that would have been cool. But the black base looks so much better. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like the
So
silver base, but it just stands out awkwardly next to other
yeah.
pops. It's like, why is that one different? So I still have mine displayed, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I wish they had done maybe like just do like a movie moment. I don't know, like just do something more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And like it was Attack of the Clones anniversary and we barely got anything.
I
Like
know we got nothing except for green and blue lightsaber Anakin, which is very cool. But
yep.
yeah.
All right, so I had that one and then I had this new leaked one which
Oh, I saw that. I think you shared it to the
yeah,
group chat.
so I don't know what this first one means, Facet C3PO.
I was wondering that too. Facet C3PO.
I
Is
have no
it what does facet mean? Because I
that's
can
what
probably
I
make a few guesses.
that's what I tried looking up, but then from like the definition, it kind of is like this a small side of something, like the side of a diamond. Like maybe it'll be like a all shiny diamond. You know how they do like the diamond edition sometimes on some Funko
Yeah.
Pops? I don't know
But
if
I
it's
feel like they would
something
have just called it diamond.
yeah, I don't know. I could for the life of me, the
Hmm.
first two, I cannot figure out what it is.
New classics 4 pack.
So
Flocked. I feel like that's just the 4 pack we were just looking at with flocked Chewy.
yeah, so I searched what does new classics mean, and these are considered new classics, like this
Hmm.
style.
Yeah, the new
So,
stuff, like the more posed Funkos.
but for flocked, you can't like you can only flock him. You can't like what are you gonna flock on these guys?
I mean,
That's
that's
the
kind of what they do. Like they released the Disney Princess 4 pack with like, I think it was like Rapunzel. I don't know. They had like four princesses on there, and then they re-released Moana, and then they said the pack was glow in the dark, but only Moana's pop glowed in the dark. So it's like, yeah, I feel like they're doing something similar. It's like the same pack, but Chewy's flocked.
hmm. I
I
guess
feel
we'll
like that's what
see.
it is.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we'll see. So
Didn't someone say it might be flocked Ewoks? I feel like
I
that would be
I,
way
I
cooler.
yeah, I mentioned that because it's the Return of the Jedi anniversary, but they're not that smart to give us what we would buy. So, because we got no Attack of the Clone stuff, so I mean that would be a no-brainer. Four different Ewoks all flocked. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that I would buy.
This Ahsoka and the Delta 7B ride, I had no idea what that means. Did you look that up yet or no?
No.
So it's actually just the name of her Jedi Starfighter because there's this
Oh,
Mission Fleet set that's out already. So if they do that as a Funko Pop ride, that'll be pretty dope.
that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that I can appreciate. Please make more of the vehicles.
Yeah, because say if they have this mold, they could just repaint this. This was everyone's Starfighter. Plo Koon, Obi-Wan, Anakin. They could release Funkos of all of them in the same ride and just repaint it.
Yeah, and they probably will.
And the Maul versus Ahsoka 2-pack. So
Mm,
I know you haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm sure you've seen
I
this in the
know.
stores.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, spoilers, they fight.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Yeah,
they both
I
don't.
also know there's like some very emotional moments between Anakin and Ahsoka as she's like getting ready to like confront Maul. Like
Oh
I've
yeah.
I've heard some stuff, but no, I haven't actually watched it. I have that to look forward to too.
Yeah. So this is gonna be an awesome Funko Pop moment.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. So
Yeah. I'm happy they're like slowly doing more unique stuff because I was happy to get Duel of the Fates. I kind of wish they had just released Duel of the Fates in one box. Like,
they
why
should
make me
have.
get Like, why make me get 3 boxes? Like, they're $30 each. Like, it's crazy. Just give me one box, make it $50. I guess that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be really cool. And it sounds like in this case, it's like all just one movie moment, which will be nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that was the last thing that I have. Do you have any other topics or things you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I loved this. I felt like we had like a little purchaser pass right at the end of this
Yeah.
episode. It was so fun. We'll
Yeah.
probably talk about all of this stuff again
Oh
really
no, for
soon.
sure, for sure. So for the YouTube out there, what do you have coming up? So like what upcoming projects do you have that we have to look forward to?
Sure. Yeah. So I have watched episode. I haven't finished all of Andor, but I did watch 2 episodes right before my move out here. I'm
Hmm.
in Florida now, but before I moved out, I watched 2 more episodes. So I have to edit those and release those and finish watching Andor and do reactions for all of those. I know it's not everyone's favorite show, but I actually am really enjoying it. I'm
Yeah.
really liking, the Cassian Andor scenes and the people
Hmm.
that they're introducing. So I will finish watching and reacting to Andor, and I will continue doing my monthly purchaser pass live streams, which feels a lot like what you and I just did, looking
Hmm.
at new merch. So
Yeah.
the next one I have coming up is actually in a few days. It's on January 3rd. So
Nice.
very, very soon. And then I don't think I'll be reacting to Bad Batch just because I'm newer to the animated show, so I'm not like as excited for like Bad Batch season 2 as maybe like, other people that watched season 1 a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'll just be enjoying that one, not reacting to it on YouTube. And then I'll be reacting to Ahsoka. I'll probably react to Acolyte. Just more fun reactions here and there. And I also want to do a lot more unboxings because the way I see it, I'm like, I'm buying all this stuff anyway.
Anyway,
And
yeah. Yeah.
I might as well just do the unboxing videos. And those have been really fun. I did an unboxing video for my 3 Mando mystery boxes, and that was just really fun to do.
Yeah.
And it's just fun talking about the unboxing in the comments. So I'll be doing more of that. So that's what the next year looks like for me. I don't know if I'll be going to as many conventions as you. You have a very, very busy 2023 going on. Um,
Yeah.
but hopefully 2024 I can maybe like go to Star Wars Celebration if it's in where might it be? Was it Orlando?
I think it might be in Orlando. I'm guessing it's going to be in Orlando. So we'll know in a couple months
Mhm.
for sure.
Well, if it's in Orlando, I can't not go. So
Yeah, it's right there.
it'd be ridiculous to miss it if it was that close. So I guess we'll see.
Awesome, awesome. So I'll put down in the description below the links to your next purchase or pass and your socials and all that good stuff. That way everyone can subscribe and add you as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of Star Wars Sith. I feel like I'm taking over as host now. This is Star Wars Sith. Thank you guys. But no, this was super fun. I'm super happy for you. This is really
Thank
cool. And I
you.
like the whole like rule of two thing that you're doing where you always have like one apprentice. I'm so honored that you have me on here as your first Sith
Yes.
apprentice. This was so
Oh
much
yeah.
fun.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. And that's it for this episode. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you
Thank you.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.